Hello everyone and welcome to today's topic. Today we will discuss a very important topic on avoiding plagiarism. My name is David Koech. So in the first module of this course, we explore the concept of academic integrity, and so that this concerns behaving honestly, ethically, responsibly within the academic context in relation to the scholarly work that you produce. So in this lesson, we will look at one of the biggest issues related to academic integrity, and that is plagiarism. So what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is using other people's work, things like other people's ideas, arguments, and opinions, and claiming them as your own without giving proper credit to the people who thought of and created the information in the first place. In defining plagiarism, Shuttle and Elliot provide a succinct and to the point of explanation. Plagiarism is a failure to acknowledge that the ideas or information being presented derived from the work of others. It's a serious form of academic misconduct. Plagiarism is most commonly identified in written assignments, but may also occur in exams and presentations. Plagiarism is an important part of academic integrity. Students are seen to have a responsibility to acknowledge those thinkers and writers who have helped them and shaped their thoughts. Universities pride themselves on being able to produce independent learners who have critically engaged with bodies of knowledge and have developed their own point of view. When we understand this as a key value of universities, we can see that there is no educational value in intentionally plagiarizing. Indeed, plagiarism is the opposite of the educational values of the university and often evokes quite a moralistic and emotional response, as it's seen as being similar to stealing. All universities in English-speaking countries have a plagiarism policy, which defines what plagiarism is and how to deal with it. The following terms and distinctions are drawn from a survey of policies on plagiarism for a range of universities. So most universities will draw a distinction between unintentional and intentional plagiarism. Unintentional plagiarism is accidental. This is when students plagiarize without intending to do so, usually because of a poor ability to reference or a poor understanding of referencing, or possibly because of an inability to paraphrase, or simply because they were unaware of plagiarism rules. Sometimes unintentional plagiarism is dealt with by asking students to undergo a course in referencing in plagiarism, or maybe redo the assignments, or by giving a formal warning. Intentional plagiarism or dishonest plagiarism, as the university, it is when a student or a student deliberately plagiarize other work, and this is dealt with much more severity. Intentional plagiarism is a form of academic dishonesty. Penalties range from failing their assignment through to legal action and charges of fraud. Intentional plagiarism arises when students pay other people to sit exams or write assignments, when they deliberately copy someone else's work with the intentions of deceiving the markers into thinking it's their own work, or when they accept payment for completing someone else's work. So in most English media universities, it's just as much a breach of academic honesty or integrity policies to complete someone else's work on their behalf as it is to ask someone to complete your work. Most universities also acknowledge the idea of self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is when you reuse work that you are written for a different purpose. For example, submitting the same text for two different assignments, different courses. To avoid this, you should produce something new every time you are asked to complete an assignment. You aren't showing how much you have learned from a particular course if you use something you wrote or designed for a previous course. So, what steps can you take to avoid plagiarism? In order to avoid plagiarism, it's important to understand what referencing is. Referencing is a set of principles and practices used at university and in fact in all academic work that allow you to acknowledge the work and ideas of others. It is done by including the author's name and publication details within your work so that readers can see where information comes from, while the exact practices of how to reference might vary between fields. The basic principles remain broadly the same. Now let's look at what sorts of things need to be referenced so that we can produce academically honest work. So you need to reference any distinctive or unique ideas that you use in your work. Ask yourself, would I know this or think this way if I had not read this source? You should also cite any kind of distinctive structure or organizing strategy. Even if you are applying a structure or a strategy to something different, you still need to acknowledge the original. For example, take the format of a television game show, such as Who Want to Be a Millionaire. The contestant sits in a hot seat and he asks the multiple choice questions by a host in front of an audience to win increasing amount of money. Even if you change all the questions, the price, and the title, it would still be plagiarizing if you didn't cite the original source of this framework as Who Want to Be a Millionaire. In a similar way, someone's experiment, methodology or analysis of a concept in their work, so copying it without reference would constitute plagiarism. In addition, you should reference any information or data such as statistics, definitions, or laws. Citing this kind of information adds to your credibility because your readers can go and double check to make sure you are telling the truth. It's very important to reference if you are copied a distinctive word, phrase, or a passage word, forward, or verbatim. In addition, if you are using a statistics, a quote, or any kind of fact that outside of common knowledge, then you need to cite where you got it from. Finally, the overall rule is when in doubt, reference the source. Avoiding plagiarism involves a genuine engagement with the literature by reading the text and then putting the ideas together with your own insights into your writing and into your own words. If you do that, you will have the satisfaction of knowing what you are on the way to engaging in the conversations with your particular academic community. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's topic. So, thank you so much for your humble time. God bless you so much.